Hello, my fabulously scented friends. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I wanted to address reasons why I, for the most part, on this channel, talk about niche fragrances. So if you've been watching me for a while, you may have noticed that a lot of the fragrances that I mentioned are niche versus commercial fragrances. And this isn't to say that there's anything wrong with commercial fragrances, it's just to basically explain why it is that I often talk about niche fragrances. Number one, quality. For the most part with niche fragrance houses, I do find that they care a little bit more about sourcing the right ingredients, high quality ingredients, and a lot of their fragrances are also created in smaller batches. So oftentimes they're not diluted ingredients, they're sourced carefully. And because they are more natural in their origins, they're often also better for the skin and also better for the health. I do find that niche fragrance houses, for the most part, also use a higher content of perfume oil or fragrance oil in their fragrances. This often means that the fragrance will last longer, not only on my skin, but in itself because it is higher concentrated, so I won't be needing to spray as much as I would if it was more diluted. The second reason why I buy niche is to support creativity. On this channel, you probably haven't seen me ever really mention clones. I have maybe mentioned a dupe here or there, but something that I like to support in this industry is creativity. I see fragrance as an art, and therefore I want to support the artist. I would like to see the industry evolve. I'd like to smell new things, and it just gets boring and repetitive when everyone is doing the same thing. The third reason why I buy niche is uniqueness. This kind of leads back to creativity, but for me, fragrance is an extension of my personality. It's a way that I express myself, express who I am, and therefore I want that to be unique. And I know that fragrances may smell slightly different on different people, but I like that when a person asks me what fragrance I'm wearing, oftentimes they've never heard of that before. The fourth reason why I buy niche fragrances is to support small businesses. I'm a big believer in voting with your dollar. So ultimately, when you decide to support a large conglomerate or a large corporation, then you're making it a lot harder for the little guy. The little guy is who brings creativity to the table again. The little guy is the one who maybe questions the norm and drives innovation. I don't believe in monopolies. I think that that really stifles growth. So I think that there needs to be variation out there, diversity, and different things for different people. The fifth reason why I buy niche is social consciousness. I find that a lot of the newer niche fragrance houses really have social consciousness and social responsibility as part of their brand. The newer niche fragrance houses really have the earth in mind, social responsibility, philanthropy, and these are just amazing things. I mean, we're not just heartless people anymore. And you do see that a lot of these companies have moved away from using lots of plastic packaging. They might support some charity work with their sales, and you can get refills and things like that. So I think that all of this is moving in a positive direction. So in honor of all of this, I wanted to bring a niche fragrance house to your attention today. And this house is called Njie. Please correct me, Maya, if you're watching this video and I'm wrong. Apparently pronounced Njie. And this is a niche fragrance house started by Maya herself, who is London-based. She is half Swedish, half Gambian, and all of her fragrances are related to her past, her childhood, to memories, essentially, which is what fragrance is all about. So I had a great time testing out Maya's fragrances. I actually bought a sample pack from her, and I ended up purchasing one fragrance, which I'm going to share with you shortly. But I wanted to do like a little brief house overview for you guys today, because I do find that these fragrances are worth checking out if you're into niche indie fragrances. Now, what I enjoy the most about Maya Njie's fragrances is how personal they feel. They're all inspired by an old family photograph, and you really feel the nostalgia coming through. So for tobacco lovers, there's Tobak, which is a true tobacco fragrance. To me, it just, even though I've never had a grandfather who smoked a pipe tobacco, I could imagine that if I did, I'd be sitting on his lap as a child, he'd be smoking that pipe, and he'd have on a warm, fuzzy sweater. So this is me envisioning a lot of things based on Maya's heritage because she is Swedish. So, you know, being in a beautiful Swedish cabin and cozying up by the fire with your grandfather. All of Maya's fragrances are completely androgynous and they're made in small batches. So from getting a fragrance in a bottle, it could have been like a matter of days. You just don't know. These fragrances are super fresh and therefore they're also still developing by the time that you get them. For me, a kind of signature fragrance in her line, or like a fragrance that shows her signature DNA, is Nordic Cedar. And this one I believe is inspired by cedar trees that grow up in Sweden. And again, that beautiful, idyllic Swedish lifestyle. So this one is a woody fragrance, of course, as you may have guessed, but it's interesting because this fragrance is also played up by a beautiful spark of cardamom. And I will say that with Maya and Njie's fragrances, you're not getting any pretentiousness. They do feel artisanal, they feel stripped back. So there isn't a lot of that luxury aura going on, if you know what I mean. It's more simplistic, it's more raw, back to nature. And yeah, that's just a beautiful thing for me. The fragrance from Maya's collection that I ended up buying was Vanilj. And this is a vanilla fragrance. It's actually kind of a development from Nordic Cedar with that cardamom, because this makes that composition a little bit more gourmand with the vanilla. And this one reminds me of, if you've ever tried Swedish cinnamon rolls, kanelbullar, or however you pronounce it, just delicious, spicy, Swedish, cardamom-filled cinnamon rolls that aren't overly sweet. And I've just really been enjoying wearing this fragrance, a lovely stripped back vanilla that smells extremely natural. It's kind of like a palate cleanser for me when I've been wearing things that are too overwhelming. There are two other fragrances in Maya's line. There's Fleurs, which is a floral fragrance, a beautiful floral musky fragrance that works for both genders as well. And this one is inspired by the song Fleurs, actually by Minnie Riperton. So it's an iconic 70s song. And if you watch that music video, sadly for copyright reasons, I can't put it into this video, otherwise I would. But it's like an almost trippy video of flowers blooming everywhere, and they're neon colored, they're super bright, and just 70s flower power. And it's definitely like, knowing that this song is the inspiration is going to make your experience of this fragrance even better. Then lastly, there's Tropica, and this is a fruity tropical fragrance. There's hints of coconut in there. And I think, to me, based on my interpretation, this is the only fragrance in the line that truly makes me think of Maya's Gambian heritage. So I think of, you know, a place filled with palm trees and a wonderful holiday vibe, a carefree lifestyle. And this one I think was intended to be kind of like a freshener that you can spray on in the cold of winter, because in Sweden, where Maya grew up, winters are very long and cold and drawn out, and then being able to spray something like Tropica would really lift your mood and make you think of more tropical environments. But then it would also work really well in those environments if you were to go on holiday, because of the fruitiness, the fresh aspect of it, and the muskiness as well. I find that all four of these fragrances have this playful musky side to them as well. So thank you for watching this video today, guys. Do you prefer niche fragrances or do you prefer commercial fragrances? I'm not going to say like designer, because I do feel like not every commercial fragrance is from a designer per se. I have a fashion background, so I'm not going to call a person a designer who is not one. Anyways, I digress. Thank you again for watching this video. Thank you for your continuous support. Please leave a comment below with your thoughts on this topic, and have you tried any of Maya and Njie's fragrances? I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks again for watching.